Hello. Hello. Good morning. I am so excited. Today we are going to play with this new stencil. So it's the Christmas Toile stencil. It is the star of the show. I can't wait. Look at all that. Look how pretty. So good morning. I'm going to double check over here, make sure I can see you guys and turn this down. But as you're coming on here, say hello, let me know where you're from, and let me know if you're ready to have fun today and how much you love Toile, because I love Toile. I always have. My bedroom is all Toile. Wonder if that surprises people, because I'm not the most traditional. Hello. But yeah, Toile has always been really one of my favorites, and I absolutely love green and white. So with that, I'll go ahead and say hello, good morning. My name is Tamara Hudson. I'm from Kansas City, and it's cold here, chilly. Today's the first day that we actually had to turn our heater on, our furnace. We live in an old house, and so we have a floor furnace. I don't know if any of you guys grew up with that or remember those. But before you turn that on for the first time, you have to really clean that out good. And my husband always does that. He did that this morning. So it's nice and cozy, and it makes it feel even better in here to be able to play with this stencil. So again, Tamara with Encore in Kansas City. Tell me where you guys are at, where you're tuning in from, and if you're ready to start Christmas crafting a beautiful life with Toile. Okay, so I know I keep showing this to you. This is one of the pillows that I'm going to show you how to do. But I also played with this guy here too. And I dyed the pillowcase, and then I added the tree on. So this was made with the 18 by 18 pillowcase. That is a really good quality pillowcase that you get from a maker studio. And if you go over there and check, this is a gift with purchase that's going on right now when you spend X amount. I really like how smooth it is. They obviously took that into account when they were picking what they wanted it to be like, because it takes the stencils really well. I'm going to show you that I use gel art ink. I love this grass is always greener, but I wanted more of a darker green, like a hunter green. In the pictures, it probably looks black, but it really is a beautiful, beautiful, yummy, luscious, deep green. So I mixed Well I Swanee with my grass is always greener to get that color. I already showed you the stencil that we were using. The other things that we're going to be using is gold leaf. Yep, we will actually be using gold leaf right on the fabric. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but it's really fun. There's a lot that I want to show you today, and I want to be respectful of your time as well, but I want you to see all the different components and just some of the tricks and the things that I've learned along the way. And also we're dealing with the component of, paint drying a little bit. So I'm going to start off showing you how to dye this pillowcase. Then I'll set that aside, and then we'll start with some stenciling, and I will go back and forth from the two pillows just a little bit, just to respect the fact that I need the paint to dry just a little bit. So I'm gonna, do that dreaded thing of turning this camera down without messing everything up, and I want to make sure that I am also over here so I can see it as well. So are you guys ready? Let me know if you're ready, because I am. Here we go. Okay, I think that's gonna work. Let's see. Okay, you're staring at a bowl of water, huh? How's that? I want to make sure it's in a good spot. Okay. I like my water to be warm when I'm going to be dyeing any fabric. That's why I had the cardboard over the top of it. The one-step paint that I am using on this project, I use English boxwood. I am going to go ahead and order a darker color of green as well, because I want to do a matching pillow or another pillow to go with it that's also darker. But I did like the contrast, especially for you guys to be able to see it, of this lighter color. And I love English boxwood. It has just a really beautiful tone to it. Now, this may be extra, but we all know I'm extra. I always take, and when I'm doing just a single piece like this, first I start with pouring my paint into my cup here. You guys hear me? Somebody's okay. And it's going to be quite a bit, okay? Because you want to make sure you're going to get it really covered. So I start off by pouring it in a smaller container of water. And I'm going to tell you why. You want to make sure it's mixed up really well. And one of the things that when you're dyeing your fabric like this, you're going to continuously agitate it because you don't want the paint falling to the bottom. Because if it does, just get it mixed up well. I'm going to see how much more I can get in here. Probably not much more. That's okay for the sake of time. So I want to make sure I've got it mixed up nice. Look at that color. English boxwood one-step paint. You can get that in sample size. Okay. Then I pour it in. It's just another measure to help me make sure I've got it completely mixed up. And this will wash right out of whatever it is that you're using. But get that good and mixed up. I'm going to move my other stuff out of the way so I don't drip on anything. Okay. Then you're literally going to take this gorgeous stark white and you are going to just shove it down in there. It's actually quite satisfying. Now, then you're going to be moving it. And you're going to keep that water and that paint moving along. Now, contrary to popular belief, you don't need it to be in here very long. And I never leave it in longer than a minute. Look how it's taken that. And I just dump it back in and I kind of swish around, flip it over, stick it under till it bubbles. Isn't it a pretty color? I'm trying to, is it Tana? It is just such a fun color. Okay, now I am going to move this and I apologize. I'm going to take it over to the sink and wring it out and then I want to show you, okay? That's one thing. I apologize being live. I've got to be able to use my sink on. I'm literally just taking that out. I'm wringing it out. And then I'll tell you what I do with it. I'm going to rinse my sink really quick so none of this has a chance to kind of stick. I'm coming back, I promise. Okay. Look at this. Now I literally take it and I hang it up on a hanger and I put it outside to dry. That's all you do. And the one that I am using, I gotta put this over here so it doesn't, there we go. So this one, I want to show you that I dyed. That's how it dries. Isn't that pretty? And I like the contrast with that dark green. So you literally just dilute it with water. That's all you do. I need to grab a towel really quick for my hands. And I'm going to set this here so things don't get wet. And I appreciate you bearing with me. I really wanted to show you how easy it is to dye it. But I knew that it would also mean I would have to run over to the sink. But you guys forgive me, right? Oh, now we're dripping. Okay. So you're going to take a couple hours to let that dry. Sometimes I'll speed it up with my hair dryer. But there is not, you guys don't have enough time to sit here and watch me get that dry. So we're going to switch gears just a little bit because I want to take you over and show you a couple things. So remember I did The pillowcase, I dyed it in that boxwood green. And yes, I've just got I'm not mailing anything. This is the cardboard I used or I'm using today. So I made my Christmas tree out of muslin. And one of the things I do when I am dyeing or stenciling on a fabric, now if you get your cardboard to put behind it, but make sure you don't have the cardboard that is soft enough on top that when you push down, you end up seeing the corrugated inside, okay? And yes, let's see where I need to put that. On my edge, I am going to go ahead and put a little bit of tape because I want to pull this taut, okay? I used to custom make fabrics for a client of mine that did pillows. Amy taught us how to do stenciling on fabric that was very close and inspired by Fortuny fabric. Okay. Here is my stencil. Now let's mix up a little paint. I'm also going to show you one of the things I always do. So I always keep a little container like this handy for any extra. And it's not just about having the extra, it's about having a reference to have the same color. And then you can save these for quite a while. Like if I'm making that pillow for a gift and I have a little bit left over, then I can make my gift tag. How fun is that? So I now can take out a little bit of this and put it on my plate, which is what I'm going to do. So I have an idea of the color and how close I want to get that color because remember, I'm mixing colors. So we're going to start with grass is always greener. We're going to have more green than brown. And then that doesn't go to waste. I'll just mix that right in with it. And I like using a white plate because I want to really see the color. Let's just start mixing that up. Sometimes I use a brush. Sometimes I use this. I may have to switch to a brush. I'm going to show you how to make that Christmas tree. All right. And you can always tweak it a little bit. But I'm kind of liking this. Greens, I know, don't always, they show up different on everybody's phone and on their computer. It's one of the hardest colors. When I would have clients sending me pictures of what they want a piece of furniture painted or their cabinet, man, green can get tricky sometimes. I'm going to set this over here. We're going to go with that for now because I want to get the stencil laid down here on the muslin because I want to show you what I did to finish off the muslin and show you the difference. I waxed it using gold mica powder as well. So pull this beautiful stencil off here. I've used this and washed this so many times already, and look how beautifully it sticks. I'm just going to get that down there really good, burnish that so you've got nice crisp edges. Need to dry this off here. Now I got water on everything just by dyeing that. I don't know. All right, I like to take my little scooper sometimes and just use that to get it on my edges. Okay, here's the fun part. So this is a triple mesh stencil. If you guys haven't used them yet, if you're not familiar, think of screen printing. You're pushing that paint through the white part of the stencil. See that? Okay, we're going to get a little bit more to finish it off because I want you guys to get the whole meal deal here. And for some reason, that sound is incredibly satisfying to me. So I'm curious, out of who's like might be on here watching, have you guys used the stencils? Would it be something new for you to use? Oh yes, you can mix the inks. I just saw your message. Heck yeah. That opens up a whole world of possibilities, doesn't it? Okay. Now I got a little bubble in there, and so just being live and working upside down may not be my best. Okay, look how satisfying is that? Okay, now forgive me. Just stare at this pretty thing for 1 second because I am gonna wash this off real quick. I do like using just like a warm water. I promise I won't take long, but I really want to preserve my beautiful stencil here because I have a pillow to finish. Okay. So we talked about to get my green, I mixed my colors. Okay. I think I've got everything out of here. Lay that there. Okay. Now this I'm just going to set aside. I'm going to hit it with the hairdryer just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to set it aside to show you something. And you can really easily tell it. I mean, it looks wet. So as soon as it's not looking wet, it's dry. I'm not going to do this very long. I will just set it aside here. And then when I'm ready to come back to it to show you how to wax it. But I am going to try to show you something here before I set it aside. So this is part of the piece that I used on the pillow, okay? Now, can you see? I don't know if you can. Let's see. See how dark that is, and see how this just looks a little bit softer? It just knocks it back a little bit by taking the clear wax and mica powder. So I mixed those up and waxed it before I cut the tree out. And I'm going to show you how to do that, but this needs to dry. Don't think I need my cardboard. I'm just going to go like this because it'll be easier to work with and set it aside, okay? So I am going to grab that cardboard because I'm wet. You try so hard not to get anything wet in this little tiny space that you guys can see. Hey, crafting can be a little messy sometimes, especially doing it upside down. Okay. I want to show you my trick while that is drying. So this was 4 different applications of the stencil, okay? So one of the things that I always do, I may have to dry my stencil off too a little bit. Okay, give me a second. It's always fun doing live TV. I knew what all I'm showing, but I knew I would have to use some of these things multiple times. Okay. I want to show you what I decided to do when I have to do multiple, lay down the stencil multiple times. So I never, ever, you can see that corner. I don't line it up like exactly right there. I always take it off a little bit. Like you can see right here exactly how far, I'm upside down, I know. Let me try to get that how it was. About like that, okay? I always overlap it just a little bit because I get less frustrated, because nothing will frustrate me more than if I'm on my edge of my pillow and you can see this little line, right? So the other thing I do, get you some painter's tape. And what you'll do is you'll cover up. Now, I'm going to flip this over here in a second when this is dry, but I'm just showing you how I did it. You're going to cover, see, go right up to that edge or close to it, because I am notorious for getting excited and possibly going, starting too far over. And then I've got a line I got to deal with. But if I go ahead and put this here, now pretend I hadn't done all of this yet. I can't flip it over because my stencil's wet, but I will. So that just gives you working room. Does that make sense? Have you done that before? I don't know what level we are. If you are new at doing stencils or if you have done stencils for a million years, these stencils, you will love them. They will work great for you. I can guarantee you that. So I just wanted to give you an idea to get my pillow fully covered. That's how I did that. So I'm going to scooch this out of the way now. You might be able to see a little better. So remember, my muslin was white. This is pure white. I'm leaving my pillow like this, but I wanted I want to see, is that showing the difference? Can you see it? It looks kind of black on my computer, but I hope you can see. So see the bright white, and then this is just knocked down a bit. I just thought that gave it a beautiful little softness, and it's not going to show up. It gives it just a touch of a shimmer. Just a touch. Because these are the fabrics that I've made when I was in Memphis training with Amy. And this is a different fabric because it's like a duck cloth, but I think you can see the sheen in that because it's not a white background. That's kind of what this has too. And depending on the fabric that you're using, it's going to have a different hand. It's going to have a different touch to it and feel. So, all right, are you with me? So far, we dyed fabric. Yay. Then we went ahead and stenciled our muslin. Okay. Now we're switching out and going back to the dyed one. That's what you got to do when you've got wet stuff, right? Now I want to show you a little trick. All of the stencils come with a backing, but then they also have just this really slick, nice little piece of cardboard in there. I used this when I glued on my tree. And I'm going to show you over here, but I'm going to do it just a hair different because, I don't want mine exactly the same. If I hadn't done that, my fabric glue might have gone through and stuck to the other side. And we don't want that at all. Okay. We're going to be a little bit more simple for sake of time since I'm doing this live, but I want you to get the whole experience. I'm going to do a Christmas tree, but this one is just literally going to be a triangle. So this is what I did with mine. I just folded my fabric in half. Let me go about that big. And I cut it out. But this will save you heartache. I made a pattern first. Okay. Then I folded my pattern in half and I laid it on my fabric and I drew it out just with a pencil. Then I cut it out. So that's how I got the tree that is on my big pillow on this side, okay? We can do a fun tree that's just a triangle. What I want to do is show you had a gold leaf on here, but I want to show you how I finished this off as well. I came in after I glued it down and I just did little cuts all along. Then I glued my tree down, and then I did this on my edges because I wanted it to look a little frayed. I want it to mimic, want it to have a little, to me, it was more finished. It didn't just look like I had glued some fabric. But yep, that's as simple as that. And all I did, I took my fabric glue, and I'm going to do it over here for you. You're just going to grab a brush, and I used the lid here, dump some of my fabric glue on. I wanted to be able to control it, and I didn't want it too thick. I literally just came in just a bit. And brushed my fabric glue on, and it's not any, this was just truly the cheap no-sew glue, fabric glue that I buy in 3 packs from Dollar Tree. And it works beautifully. But see how I came in a little bit so I can come back in and do my notches. I don't like going all over, and I may have to touch it up after I get it on here. After I work with it a little bit, come back in and add a little bit more if need be. That is all I do. Nothing fancy. And you get that tree on there. And then put your edges down. And then after it dries, come back in if you want and fray those edges. And I started this one a little bit. Do a little bit more. I did some, I mean, look, I am not, my perfectionists are probably freaking out because it's just, you know, free form. It's organic. And then I do that to pop it up, but I want that to stay down for now. Okay, so you're with me. We dyed our fabric. Then we took muslin and we put the stencil down. Once it dried, we waxed it. I'm going to show you that, but it needs to dry just a little bit more, okay? So next, gilding size. Now, once again, and I'm going to try to do this upside down. Pray for me. You've been needing this. Yay, Kelly. Oh, you made me smile. Thank you. You know, you put an idea together and you hope it's something people want. Okay, can you guys see this? You can just draw that star. You're fine. And he's an awkward star right now. But that's okay. Because I'm going for that homemade look, right? Oh, I can't draw a star upside down, that's for sure. We've all learned that today. Woo! And then I take this is gilding size. Now, if you've not gold leafed before, gilding size makes a difference. It really does. I've had people ask me, can I use something else? It's an adhesive. It's your glue, for lack of a better word. Anytime I am doing gold leaf on anything, I want my gilding size. I don't like to use anything else. This is what it's made for, and I just get a better result. So all I'm doing right now, I'm following my outline, and I'm going outside of my lines just a tiny bit because I don't want to see them after I put the gold leaf on here. Now, anybody that knows me and knows me well, I'm a more is more kind of girl. I thought it would be fun to come and do little bulbs like on the outside of my tree on the other side, just to add a little bit more gold. So when you're doing a flat surface, not fabric, you know, when I'm doing a piece of furniture, you want to wait for it to come to tack. And so literally you'll take your finger and see if it's tacky yet. So fabric, it's going to soak it up a little bit faster. I just kind of wait until the white isn't as white anymore. And there's no other way to really say that until you can see it with your own eyes. Because I don't want it to be able to move around. I still want it to dry up just a little bit. So I'm going to have it go from where it's kind of a milky white to where it's not quite as white. And it just looks like a wet spot. Now this is a book. And the gold leaf comes in a book, and it's a book, and you've got your spine here. I have full ones, but I always have these strips that I've cut for different projects. And then now your hands need to be very dry. I think mine are. And then you literally are going to just lay that down on it. That shouldn't be sticking out there. I want him gone so you can really see. Okay. You take your piece, take that off, and you burnish that down. And then you pull this off. Oops. Gonna grab this piece here. Fabric can be a little trickier. There you go. I just didn't get that down on that side really well. So burnish that in just like you would on anything else. You know, I'm always speeding it up just a hair, but it still isn't a project that takes long. Okay, I'm gonna move my gold leaf. Now, I'm gonna scoot this aside because this does need to dry. When it gets good and dry, I'm gonna just take my dry chip brush and I will brush away, and it will only stick where the size was. See? Right there. I think you can see that. Let me know. There you go. So I'm going to set this aside. And what I do is I want to show you how I waxed this. This is going to have to go over here. I'm going to get this back out. I don't want it to be a wet side. And let's find, just drop the hair dryer. Oh, it's right over here. It's drying. Duh. Oh, Lord, I hope you guys don't think I'm all over the place, but there's a lot of moving parts with these sometimes when you're doing it this way, so you can see all of the stuff. I don't need that stuck on there. I am going to need to hit this with the hairdryer just a little bit because I don't want to smear it. I can see it's still wet, so bear with me here. It's pretty darn dry. Okay, let me show you what I did here. So you're going to need wax. I've got my clear wax. I've got my mica powder. I've got my trusty tongue depressor. Pick those up anywhere. I have tons of them. I probably have more than anyone should ever really need, but I never want to be out of them, right? Okay. I'll take my wax and then I just kind of just soften it up a little bit. Then I'll take my mica powder. This is gold. Diamond dust is beautiful for this too. Oh my goodness, it really is. And dump that on there. And I always put the lid back on this because you will be heartbroken because you'll end up knocking it over, I promise. And then I mix it up. Now, I have tried to skip this step so many times. I've thought I'd be a smarty pants and just get my brush ready and then dip it in the diamond dust or gold mica powder for a project on a piece of furniture. And you just don't get even distribution, okay? You just don't. So take the time. Can you see how I got that mixed up there? Take the time to do this. You're not that busy. You can do it. Now, one of the things that in all of my classes that I've always taught, there's a quiz, one thing at the end of every one. And everybody has always remembered it. So whenever you're waxing anything, whether it's furniture or fabric, you want to get your wax into your brush. I always get it about that far down. Does that make sense? I want enough in there, okay? And then always, 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 always offload onto a piece of cardboard. That helps you get an even distribution, and it makes it where you don't get too much wax on what you're doing. So now we're going to see how dry this is. You think it's going to be dry enough? Oh, I hope it's going to be dry enough because I just want you to see how easy, okay? So you saw me mix that up, saw me offload my brush, and then this is all I do. You're just coming back in. And on this, since I've got that white background, I'm just knocking that green back a little bit. Is it absolutely necessary? No. Did I feel that it just finished it, elevated it a tiny bit? I do. And it just gives it a nice little sheen. Now, this isn't fully dry, so it's starting to pull my green onto my white. So I'm probably going to stop there. I wanted you to see. These would be really cute. Make some fabric like this and get the little embroidery hoops and make ornaments. Just pop that around that and then put a pretty bow on it. And you've got an ornament now that you can go on top of your box for the pillow that you're gifting to somebody, right? Right? I love that. Okay. I'm going to get the pillow back out and see what it is that I need to show you. And do you guys have any questions? I don't know how you couldn't because we've been all over the place. But it's a process, okay? We're going to see how dry this is. So, white pillowcase, boxwood green, diluted in a bunch of water in a bowl. Put this down in the bowl. Agitate it. Do not let it sit in there for more than a minute. Now, the importance of mixing it up really well is because if any of that paint drops to the bottom and you plunge this down to the bottom, it'll pick up more deposits of paint in areas. And we just don't want that. Okay, so we have a code. It is Pillow 20 to shop these products so you can make your own Toile pillow. Okay, here we go. And it's probably not dry enough, but I want to show you. This is literally, I just start, yep. And that's okay too. So I'm going to show you, because it's going to happen to you sometimes because you're going to get excited. But this is literally, I just want you kind of, first of all, I didn't make a very pretty star when I drew it. So you're literally just going to grab your brush with your size. And in those areas where I brushed it off, where I didn't get it on there, where I did it too soon and rushed it, or did it too hard, I'm just going to put more size. And then I'm just going to lay that back down on it. So don't be intimidated by it. It's really fun to do gold leaf on fabric. And it just adds a little. Okay, where are we at? I know it's 10:40. We're probably Probably talked longer than most of you want me to talk. Let me see if there's any questions. Hi, Kathy. What do you think? Do you like this? Do you think you'll ever do anything kind of like it or similar? It's just, I wanted to show you another way to use the stencils. And I want to tell you something too, using this one. Now, I showed you how on this, you've got to lay it down 4 different times, 4 different ways. And you're going to butt those up together, right? You're going to eyeball that the best you can. You're going to move your stencil over. You're still going to go ahead because it's going to be dry, and you're going to put the paint tape around it. But I want to show you something. I'm going to try to point it out. Yep, I'm totally going to point it out. So do you see on this Santa right here? I was off a little bit. My lines went up, okay? So there was the smidge, tiniest little line that was showing of white. I could have left it and most people wouldn't have seen it. But all I did then is this little paint pot that you saved, dip that in there with the tiniest little brush, just get you a little bit of paint and come back in there. And wherever that line was at, you just go little and you fill it in and no one will ever know. I mean, look at this. I think people would be hard pressed to think that this wasn't one continuous piece of fabric, that you made it. You made it. And these pillowcases are the best ever, in my opinion. And I've made a lot of pillows. So thank you. I know I took, oh, it was helpful. That makes me happy. Yay, yay, yay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I adore you guys. Again, I'm Tamara. Encore is my store. We're in Kansas City. I have been in love with all of Amy Howard's products and a maker studio for over 10 years. My kitchen cabinets have been painted for 10 years and I love them. But I hope that you find something to do with this stencil and all of the amazing stencils. I've got some other fun projects. It was a lot. We dyed fabric. We made a Christmas tree. We cut it out and put it on. We waxed it. We gold leafed it. But I hope I didn't, going back and forth because things are wet, I hope that didn't throw you off too much. I hope it made sense to you. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you guys have fun crafting a beautiful life. And share this with your people. Share the video, but share your love for making things with your hands. There is nothing that I enjoy more than doing this with my friends, just like you guys. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I hope everybody stays warm. And I think a big takeaway that we had today was you can mix your gel inks. That opens that up to so many custom colors. So go for it. Don't be afraid and play with this stuff. So thank you guys very much. I hope you have a wonderful day and I appreciate you. Bye.